Good morning and welcome to our technology class. We're at week 36 now. So let's see, we have come a long way and I noticed that not very many of you are keeping up. So I'm hoping that you will stop in and catch up on your assignments so that way you can end the year on a good note, right? And hopefully you're having fun. Because who doesn't like to make games? Hopefully, I know everybody likes to play games, but making games can be a lot of fun, or at least it can give you a glimpse into the world of what it really takes to make a game. And we're making super simple games here, but if you could imagine making a PS5 game, that takes a lot of years, and it is not as simple as what we're doing here. But this is a really good introduction for you guys just into what it really takes to work as a computer programmer at a video game company. And who knows, maybe some of you, that could be a possible job for you in your future. There are plenty of video game companies in the United States, even in other countries, that are always looking for good programmers. Also, if you are into drawing, if you are an amazing artist, you may also be interested in working with games. Maybe you're somebody who creates the art for the different characters, background settings, music. They also, they always need sound people. So there's a lot that goes into games, and they can really be fulfilling careers. They can pay well. You can meet a lot of amazing people there. So who knows, this could be a future for you. But obviously we are not getting that in depth here. We're just really exposing you to just some games that you can at least learn some basic code. So this week, we're going to be doing the escape game. Woohoo! Hopefully everybody's super excited. So I'll go through it with you here, and I'll work through some of the code. And then of course you could always go back to the video if you get stuck on something. You can copy the code that I do if you want. I mean, or you can just make up your own code. It's good to be creative and try to come up with your own things, because that's how you learn something, right? And hopefully you have fun with it. I was hoping to end the school year with something fun, but it seems like not everybody has picked up on the fun. So I don't know where everybody went. Maybe you've all gone into your fantasy worlds or something, and you're in these different worlds, and I don't know, but maybe just come back to reality and then be like, oh, I'm here and I still have 5 more weeks of school and I need to make sure that I do end my year well, right? So just try your best. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm really just looking that you put in the effort and that you're at least trying. You know, I totally get it. Not everybody likes coding. It isn't for everyone, but it's definitely something in the times that we live in that we all need to have some sort of a working knowledge, at least some basic code, because it's going to be part of your future. I mean, it's already here now, but by the time you guys are adults, it will be a main part of your future. Oh, Emmanuel, I think you have to go. Jaden's at the window. So it'll be a main part of your future, right? So I'm going to go right into the video for the first one here, and I'll let you guys watch it, okay?
Hey, and welcome to day 5 of Scratch Games. Today, you'll create an escape game where the player's character must avoid bouncing sprites. This game will introduce randomness, as well as a Scratch variable, the timer. Randomness is an important concept used in many different games. For example, whenever you play a game that involves rolling a die, such as Monopoly, each roll gives you a random number between 1 and 6. Randomness is often used in video games as well. In the Pokemon video games, players encounter Pokemon randomly in the wild. You never know when you're going to see a wild Pokemon, or even a Pokemon you might encounter. Randomness is also important for sport games. For example, football video games use randomness to ensure that unexpected things happen no matter how many times a player plays the game. This includes everything from plays that are called to having the computer players fumble and intercept the ball at random points in the game. Randomness can help keep games interesting and fun. In today's game, the player must control a sprite to avoid enemies that are randomly moving around. This game is fun because the enemies move in random directions. You won't know where the enemies will go next. The next screencast will begin to guide you through the programming of this game. But first, you need to design your project. Take a minute to open Scratch and create a new project. Add a backdrop and add 2 sprites, one as the player and the other as the chaser. After you finish these steps, move on to the next screencast.
Alrighty, so let's open up our starter project. Hopefully you're getting more used to this whole process here. And if you haven't even done one project, then obviously you are not used to it because you don't know what you're doing. But let's have you put your name. So this is lesson number 5. Excuse me. And this is the escape game. Then you can go to File, Save Now, and then we're going to move on. So obviously you don't need to watch all the videos because I'm putting them on this video. But let's get started.
Before moving on to this video, you should have added a backdrop and 2 sprites to your project. If you haven't done that yet, please pause this video and do so now. In this video, you'll learn how to program the chaser sprite to start moving in a random direction and bounce off the walls forever. When computer scientists have large or difficult problems to solve, they use something called problem decomposition to make solving the problem easier. Problem decomposition means breaking a bigger problem up into smaller steps. To make the sprite point in a random direction and bounce off the walls forever, you'll break this problem into smaller steps. 1. Move the sprite. 2. Move the sprite forever. 3. Make the sprite bounce off if it's on an edge. And 4. Point the sprite in a random direction when it starts. First, move the chaser sprite. Click the chaser sprite and drag out a move block. Next, program the sprite to keep moving forward. Click Control and place a forever block around the move block. Click the block stack to test. Awesome, the sprite keeps moving forward. Next, program the sprite to bounce off the edges of the stage. Click Motion and drag the If on Edge bounce block into your forever loop. Try it by clicking on the forever loop. Good, the sprite is bouncing back and forth on the stage. This wouldn't be a very fun game if the sprite only bounced back and forth like this. To fix this, turn the sprite a random amount of degrees at the beginning of the game. This is a problem that you can break down into smaller pieces. To get a sprite to turn a random amount, you'll need it to turn first. Drag out a turn block from the motion menu and put it at the start of the program. Each time the game runs down, the sprite will turn 15 degrees before starting to move forward. From the operators menu, select a pick random block and place it inside the turn block. Set the values in the pick random block to whatever you want. Each time this block is run, the computer will choose a random number between the values you selected and turn that sprite that amount. Test your code. Sweet. Now tell the computer when to run this code. Add a when flag clicked event. Now it's your turn. Program your chaser sprite to point in a random direction, move forward forever, and bounce off the edges of the stage. You might break down the problem.
Okay, so here's something that we didn't do, but you do need to select what sprite you want to use. So again, that's totally up to you. You can just go in here and add a new sprite. So if you want like a bouncer one, you can add that. And then if you want to change your main sprite, so like if you want to delete this and add a main sprite, like it really is up to you guys what you want to do. So that is completely up to you. I'm going to add a dog for mine. And so completely up to you. And then what you're going to do is go and choose the one that's going to be going around. So for mine, I'm going to use the ball. And you can add this code in. So you're going to turn and pick a random degree. You're going to forever move 10. And if you're on the edge, you're going to bounce. So I would just go through and I would start selecting the code. So you can literally just copy the code. And then the things that we were using that we know were different was the pick random, because we're picking a random location anywhere in our area there. And then we're going to forever move 10 steps. And if we're on the wall, we're going to bounce. So we're going to forever move 10 steps. And if we are on the edge, we're going to bounce. So now I could test it out. So now there's my ball and it's bouncing. Okay. So now that I've gotten that started, let's continue with our game. And we have to program the player sprite.
In this video, you will program the player sprite to follow the mouse pointer. You can make the sprite follow the mouse with the go-to mouse pointer block, but that would make it too easy to avoid the chaser sprites, because the player sprite will always move as fast as the mouse pointer. Instead, program the player sprite to point towards the mouse and move forward 10 steps. This will make the sprite follow the mouse at a set speed each time the loop runs, making the sprite look like it's chasing the mouse pointer. This will make the game more challenging and fun. To start, click on the player sprite. Then, click Motion and drag out a point towards block. Change the value in the drop-down menu to mouse pointer. Click to run this block. Great, the sprite points towards the mouse pointer. Make the sprite move forward after it points towards the mouse pointer by adding a move block. Click this block stack to test. Awesome. The player sprite faces the mouse pointer and moves forward. Next, program the sprite to point towards the mouse pointer forever. Click Control and drag out a forever block. Test your code by clicking on the block stack, then moving the mouse pointer around the stage. The sprite should follow the mouse pointer. If you want to slow down or speed up the sprite, experiment with a few different values in the move block. Tinker with this value until you create a speed you like. There's a bug in the program. When the player sprite touches the mouse pointer, it starts shaking. When the sprite goes to the mouse pointer, it never stops pointing towards or moving, making it look like it's shaking. The sprite should point towards the mouse pointer, move 10 steps, and repeat this until it reaches the mouse pointer. To fix this bug, add an if statement that runs this code only if the sprite is not touching the mouse pointer. To do this, click on Control and select an if statement. Place this if statement inside your forever loop and put the motion blocks inside it. Click on Operators and select the Not block. Then, go to the Sensing menu and select the Touching block. Change the value to mouse pointer. This now reads, if not touching the mouse pointer, then point towards the mouse pointer and move forward 10 steps. Otherwise, do nothing. Click this block stack to try it out. Great. The player sprite follows the mouse pointer only while it's not touching the mouse pointer. When the two touch, the sprite stops moving until the mouse is moved again. Finally, add a when flag clicked event. Click the flag to test. Awesome. Both the player and chaser sprite start to move. In the next video, you will add a timer to keep score for this game. Now it's your turn. Program the sprite to follow the mouse pointer only if it's not touching the mouse pointer. Remember, if you have any questions, ask.
Okay, so remember what we're doing here. We're getting our forever block, and then if we're not touching the mouse pointer, then we're going to be pointing towards the mouse pointer and moving 10 steps. So let's get another, we're going to go into the code for the dog in my case. Remember, yours is going to look different because you're choosing different sprites for your game. So it will definitely look different. And so let's try and kind of get our basic blocks set up there. We have our forever loop. We have our, oops, I put them in the wrong way. And then we're going to get our touching mouse pointer block. And then we want the not block. And then we're going to put that in there. So now it looks like that. We're going to point towards mouse pointer and move 10 steps. So those are all here. Point towards mouse pointer and then move 10 steps. Oops. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so now I'm able to, I'm moving it with my mouse, right? Woo! Okay, so there we go. Alrighty, so let's move on. So remember, your game is definitely going to look different from mine because you're choosing different sprites for your game.
In this video, you'll add a timer that will keep score for your game. The longer the player sprite avoids the chaser sprite, the higher the timer score. To start, select the chaser sprite and drag out the timer block from the Sensing menu. In Scratch, timer is a variable. A variable is a storage container that holds a value for later use. The timer variable stores the time the game has been played. Click the checkbox next to the timer variable to display the value of the timer on the stage. When a player clicks the flag, the timer resets and starts running from 0. Program the chaser sprite to say the score when it catches the player sprite. Click Looks and drag out a save for 2 seconds block and place the timer variable inside it. To test, click the flag, then the save for 2 seconds block. The chaser sprite says the number stored in the timer, which is how long the game has been played. Next, program the chaser to say the time if touching the player. Select the control menu and drag an if statement into the forever loop. Place the say block into this if statement. Finally, complete the conditional statement. If the chaser touches the player, then it should say the value of the timer. Click the sensing menu and drag out a touching block. Change the value to the name of your player sprite. Test your code and play your game. You can also invite your neighbor to take a turn and see if they can get a faster time. If you want to make your game more challenging, add more chaser sprites by right-clicking the chaser sprite and selecting duplicate. Now it's your turn. Tell the player their time using if, touching, say, and timer blocks. Then duplicate the chaser sprite to...
Okay, so we're adding in our timer. We want to try to see how long our sprite can go without touching the bouncing ones, right? The bouncing sprites. And then we can duplicate and add more chaser sprites. So let's get another conditional block. If touching, we want to say timer, and then we can add that in. So we're going to add that in after the code for the ball. So we have to go on. For my case, I'm going back to the ball. Yours, whatever yours was, you will add that in. So I'm going to get my if block. I'm going to add that in. And then I'm going to get my touching block and my say timer block. So let's see if we're touching, and I got to change it because we want to make this be dog one. Whoops, dog one. Then we're going to go to looks. We're going to get the say block. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my variables. I want to find my timer block. Okay. Timer block. Stick it in there. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate it and make 2 of them. Actually, maybe I'll make 3 just to make it a little bit harder here. I'll just put 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. All right, now let me run it. Whoa, so now this is going to be a little bit tricky because I have 3. So, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to see how long I can go without touching, but obviously I haven't gone very long. Oh, let's see this time. Oh, 17 seconds that time. Oh. Okay, so now let's see what we can do next. There's some add-ons, so let's take a look how we can make this a little bit more fun.
Congratulations on coding an awesome escape game. Now, make your game even more fun and original with add-ons. And play a sound if caught. Program a sound effect to play if the player is caught. Program a chaser that can be controlled by a second player and play your game with a friend. And change up the player. Program the player sprite to change costumes if caught. Make the chasers move faster as the score climbs higher in the Speed Up the Chase add-on. And high score, add programming that will store the high score. If you want to continue to create and explore after today's club is over, you can access Scratch and CS First from any computer that has access to the internet. Have fun creating, customizing, and making this project your own.
Okay, so let's take a look. So we can play a sound if we're caught. We can play the game with a friend. So we can program one sprite to be controlled by another player. We can change up the player. We could speed up the chase. We could do a high score. So really, I think what I'll do is kind of what I've been doing, which is pretty much any of the add-ons will just count as bonus. So you could get 5 points for each add-on. But you do have to tell me that you put an add-on in. So if you email me the link to your project when you're done, just say, Mrs. Erica, I did blah, blah, blah. I did 3 add-ons and tell me which ones you did. So then that way, when I go look at your game, I'll know that what you did. Okay, because it's obviously, I have there's no way I could remember which add-ons were for this thing and to know. So you're going to have to tell me if you want to get the bonus points, which add-ons you put in, and send me the link to your project. Okay. So the basic code is to just get the chaser game set up with the timer. And then that way, at least you can play it for a little bit. And then after that, if you do any add-ons, that'll be extra credit. So you'll get bonus points for that. Okay. So don't forget to save it. So you do file, save now, name it, lesson 5, escape game with your name. So that way, when I go in to check if you did it, but really what I want you to do is to email me the link to the project, because when you're done, that would be the quickest way if you want to get a grade right away. Otherwise, I have to go into the account and I have to go one by one and look at it and try to figure out what you did. But it's a lot easier if you just email me the link and then just tell me what you did with your add-ons and everything. And then that way I can know. Okay. So that would be the quickest and easiest way for you to get your grade. If I know it really matters to everybody, right? Well, I know there's a few of you who really do care. And again, if you're falling behind, so right now I'm like looking, so here, I'm just looking at my, keep everything in here. So this week 36, we're doing lesson 5. Then we have 3 more lessons. So by the first week in June, that'll be our last lesson. And then obviously the school year is going to be over by then. The end of the quarter will be the following week. So then I won't give you anything new. So, but you do need to catch up. I mean, they do take a little bit of time, each of the projects. I mean, they're not like super complicated code or anything, but they take time, right? And so you want to make sure that you get all of these done so that you can do well for your technology grade for 4th quarter. Okay. You're more than welcome to come in here. Like, I know I'm usually recording videos, but I mean, if you're just sitting at the computer, that doesn't bother me. So it's fine. If you want to come in here, if you're doing, you know, your work or you have a break or something, or of course lunch, if you need to talk or you need help, I'm here in the lunchtime and I can help you. So I'm just trying to tell you that I'm here, you know, and that I can help you. And I do like getting visitors because it's pretty lonely talking to Zoom all day or doing videos all day. So I'm happy when kids actually come in. If you want to talk about technology, if you need help, or you just want to talk about anything, something going on in life, and you just want to chat, maybe you're having some anxiety about something, obviously stop in and we can talk. All right, guys, so I'll see you next time. All right, bye.